Hey there, it's Dick Williams with Secrets of Stand-Up Comedy. I'm going to tell you everything I know about stand-up so you can be a better comedian. The specifics in your jokes are very important. The details, the choices you make go from generic to very specific. I was watching many years ago, I'm pretty sure it was The Tonight Show. Dana Carvey was on there with Jay Leno, and he did a joke on the panel. And instead of saying shampoo bottle, he said bottle of Prel or Prel bottle. If you're familiar with Prel, it's a certain type of shampoo. From what I remember, it's in the green bottle, and it said Prel across the front. And it was funny. It was funny that out of all the different shampoo companies and brands, he chose Prel. And he even said to Jay, after Jay was laughing, he goes, "Yeah, I went with Prel on that one. That's what you got to do. You got to make that choice." That's what's available to you for all of your jokes. You don't want to do it too much. You don't want to be too heavy-handed because it should be something that pops out, not something that you're hitting them over the head with. You don't want to force it. You don't want to overdo it. Use it somewhat sparingly. And I would go for real life stuff, not necessarily the most extreme, because then it takes away from the punchline because it's a joke on a joke. So when let's say you're picking a grocery store, you want to use a real grocery store in the area that you're performing. So in my area, it's Price Chopper, or Market 32, or Hannaford, or ShopRite. This is an example of going too far. You don't want to use Piggly Wiggly because, yeah, it's funny, but it's been done to death, and it stands out a little bit too much. It overshadows the punchline, in my opinion. But you can use Kroger or Winn-Dixie, whatever the grocery store chain is in that area. And you do this for everything. It's that little specific that paints a picture in the audience's mind when you say it. I'm going to show you a clip now to really hit home what I'm saying.
Merry Christmas. I hope everyone had a lovely holiday season, and that I hope if you have any family members that were rude, that they get kidney stones, and then they get their car keys stolen at Food Lion, and then they have to live at Food Lion for the rest of their days with no taxis to pick them up or Ubers or anything. And then they get arrested for living inside a Food Lion, and then they become a felon, and they can never leave the country again or own a firearm or anything. Merry Christmas.
I love following accounts like that one on Twitter. To me, she's hilarious because instead of saying, "I hope that rude relative gets sick or gets cancer," something we all have heard, kidney stones. Kidney stones is a very specific choice that she made. And then Food Lion. Do you see if she just made that get sick and gets trapped in a grocery store, it doesn't have the same effect. It can be subtle and most people won't pick up on it. But when you're writing, add those specifics, make choices. My friend used to, a guy I worked with, and we became great friends. He was in charge, he was the showrunner with his writing partner for The Jeffersons in the later seasons. And then he worked on Golden Girls, writing and producing on that, a number of other things. And he said that they would have to go to Norman Lear's mansion and they would work on the script all night for the final pass. And they would sit there sometimes for hours to decide exactly what a hotel room number would be in a piece of dialogue. They would say, "Is 357 funnier than 126?" And those are the types of things you should be really giving a lot of thought to. What sounds funniest? What sounds the most interesting? Here's the assignment. Go through all of your material. If you have it written out in a notebook, note cards, or on your computer, and look for places that you can make specific choices to pepper in some other funny, interesting parts that will make the setup and the punchline go to a higher level. It's adding texture to your material. I make a video like this every day. I hope that you'll watch again. And I appreciate the core audience that's been here. I think I'm up to 487 subscribers and probably about 150 people that watch every video. Probably right around there. And that's great because I know that group of people, they're not just tuning in and letting the advice or the tips go by them. I hit the microphone. I don't like doing that. But I want to acknowledge you because you're serious about this. I mean, it's one thing. There's so much stuff on the internet you could be watching or listening to. But I appreciate you trying to further your career and get better at your craft. I had somebody in the Discord comment on one of my recent videos where I said, if you want to be better, you have to think you're better. And he had a very valid point, which was a lot of comics think they're better than they are. And that gets in the way sometimes of them actually moving up success-wise and their act getting better. And so I just want to make the distinction because it's a semantics issue. When I say to get better, you have to think or know that you're better, for me, it's about holding myself accountable, that I'm better than this. I'm better than this behavior I'm exhibiting here. Like when I was growing up, the idea of graduating from high school was not a big deal. It was expected. So if I were to not come close to graduating, that would be scandalous in my family. I'm better than that. And the comics that think that they're better than they are, a lot of times what they're doing is they're thinking that they're better in the sense that they're better than other comics and they deserve fame and wealth and all the big spots on the show. So it's an important distinction. I just wanted to clear that up, and I'll see you tomorrow.